I'll play for 1 hour and 30. Or maybe just the full 2 hours again, as usual. And then it's off to work until I fall asleep on my desk. At 3 a.m. I'm actually already halfway through getting through the exact same levels as my original save. Just goes to show how much harder New Game Plus is. Like, yikes. Anyway, if you don't mind, I don't have a lot to talk about. So I'll be mostly quiet with YouTube. Anyone here know Moon Channel? I always forget this, but sometimes I really feel like I should. This should be an obligation I should fulfill, but I should be telling what the videos I'm playing in the background are, the channel they come from, and that you should go subscribe to them.
Humble Bundle Incorporated.
And Moon Channel's one of them.
Humble Bundle
A lawyer who talks about video games specifically.
By IGN.
I love it.
Yes, that IGN. And IGN is a subsidiary of Ziff Davis, a much larger digital media company of around 5,000 employees and a reported revenue of $1.4 billion. In fact, they're based right here in good old New York City. How you doing, fellas? The ebb and flow hype cycle push and pull of big tech doesn't necessarily apply to media companies. Where the big game devs like EA and Ubisoft saw massive success this year and conducted layoffs in spite of that success, Ziff Davis saw its Q3 2023 revenues decrease by 0.3% compared to Q3 of 2022. As such, despite the fact that Ziff Davis is a large company, I don't think that the layoffs at Humble are necessarily coming from the same cynical place that the other games industry layoffs are coming from. Just because a company is big and tech-related doesn't mean it is necessarily following the strategies we've discussed. Humble and publishers like it, as well as many digital media companies, are almost all going to be Category 3. They are not playing the same game as the big tech wannabes. Well, at least not always. But that's a video for another time, perhaps. As we conclude our examples,
I believe we're going to Matoya now since we have the crystal eye.
Okay, Mooney, I can hear you say, I've been dying for this part of the video because I have so
That's
many
the usual
complaints.
pattern.
I'm so skeptical. I mean, if EA and Microsoft and Ubisoft and Humble and Take-Two and all of these indie studios are all cutting staff, isn't this just market forces in action? Sure, the video games industry is reporting record profits. Sure, the investor reports reviewed are showing excellent revenue. But there was excess hiring due to COVID market enthusiasm, and there is a pullback from those highs because these companies foresee a shift in the market. Okay, well, fair point. Are all these layoffs really just cynical corporate decision-making, or is this just the market cycle in action? Well, I hope so far that the video has shown you that it's kind of both. That the corporate big tech strategy is how you push into the cycle, into the market conditions, so that you can overswing on the top and cut towards the bottom. Doing so in order to maximize investor capital inflow and minimize outflow. Examples like Take-Two show you that you can even generate your own hype cycles that aren't necessarily synchronized with the market at large. But even though Take-Two didn't time its layoffs with everybody else, they still went with the layoffs, right? This excessive hiring and firing is just the market playing tricks on everyone. Isn't that how this all works? Well, here is something to consider. When all of these layoffs were happening,
consider the following.
Studios were being closed and absorbed, and people were being moved around and reorganized, and surplus staff hired during boom times were being cynically fired. There was a massive player in the video games industry that didn't lay anyone off. In fact, not only did this big player not do any layoffs, but in Q1 of 2023, when the big tech strategy players were conducting their mass layoffs, despite strong revenue, this company increased its employees' wages by 10%, even during a reported revenue slump. This company is an example of the old way of doing things in the video games industry. Of corporate governance in an industry once run by idealistic game developers and engineers instead of cynical big tech finance people. The company I am referring to is Nintendo. I'm going to read an excerpt for you out of an investor Q&A. Take a look at the dynamics at play here. Look carefully at what the investor asks and see what investors expect. You will notice the investors expect the big tech game plan. And then pay close attention and see what Nintendo's answer is to that question. Here we go. Question 16. This fiscal year, you announced an increase in employee base salary in Japan, and I think that this is a very positive initiative in retaining talented employees. On the other hand, increasing employee base salary decreases the resources for dividends. So I can imagine there was some sort of negative feedback from institutional investors. Please describe the reactions from institutional investors, employees, and other companies in the industry regarding this wage increase. To which Nintendo President Furukawa responds, I believe the most important factor in maintaining our high level of competitiveness is to value the employees that have created various popular products and built the brand. Currently, we are experiencing unprecedented levels of global inflation, and in Japan, we understand that people are facing increasing financial pressure in their daily lives. For this reason, to deal with long-term and continuing changes in the environment, Nintendo increased the base salary for all employees in Japan by 10%, separate from the annual wage increase. There it is. While the other companies say there is inflation and rising interest rates, which is why we have to cut employees, Nintendo doesn't make the excessive hires, and Nintendo doesn't fire anyone as a show to investors because Nintendo's business strategy, its corporate governance, its game plan isn't copycatted nor cynically built. It is truly old school.
I hate how mean she gets after we get her glasses.
The industry tends to prefer to copy Nintendo's strategy because it has worked so well for the company. For shareholders, well, maybe a little less so. There's a substantial divide in how Sony of America, for example, handles their affairs compared to Sony of Japan. Sony of America acts like an American tech company. The Sony in Japan is sometimes a little Japanese, sometimes also a little American. Sega is the same way. We've seen Sega handle its American possessions like an American tech company. I didn't have time in this video to discuss shoddy game releases and how that fits into this equation, but consider what's going on with Creative Assembly on the one hand, and on the other hand, look at Atlas, which recently raised its employees' salaries by 15%, or Square Enix, which raised its salaries by 10% this year. Okay, but isn't it hard to fire employees in Japan? Isn't this just a quirk of Japanese economics? Isn't it more difficult to find employees in Japan right now, which is why employers are focusing on higher salaries to retain employees? Well, yes, it is definitely harder to fire employees in Japan, but it's doable, and oftentimes such downsizing is done via suggestion. In March of 2023, when Big Tech was conducting its layoffs, Japanese workers weren't spared. Google went about the execution of its hype cycle game plan by offering early resignation, for example. In November of 2022, despite the legal consequences of ad hoc layoffs in Japan, firing from the hip, if you will, Elon Musk of Twitter fired numerous staff from Twitter Japan in furtherance of his own corporate game plan. So absolutely, layoffs can be done, and they are done. Is the Japanese economy special in some way? Maybe the job market is extra hot, unemployment is extra low, and as such it makes no sense to be firing right now. Maybe that's why Sega and Sony handle their American affairs so differently than they handle their Japanese affairs. Right. Well, yes, Japan's unemployment rate is especially low, and it has a hot labor market. But so does most of the Western world, especially in the United States. If one were to merely look at the job market in a vacuum, it would make no sense at all for American companies to be conducting layoffs right now either. And yes, though Sony and Sega handle their American subsidiaries and affairs in the styles that their American big tech influenced leadership prefers, Nintendo, notably, does not. Doug Bowser, current president of Nintendo of America, was recently quoted as saying that Nintendo doesn't have labor unions because their job satisfaction is so high. Now that might seem like a farcical statement to you, but anyone who speaks corporate lingo knows that you always want to avoid the U word. Even the mere mention of unions is a terrifying prospect. But Bowser is willing to say, look, our people are so happy that we aren't even scared to talk about unions openly. And indeed, Nintendo of America, much like Nintendo of Japan proper, hasn't engaged in these cynical layoffs that we've seen emerge from the rest of the industry. As an important
right now.
Let me make this perfectly clear. A very defensive old-school mentality to leadership like Nintendo's has its good and bad. One of the reasons Nintendo is so defensive with its intellectual property, for example, is this old-school mentality. There's a give and take. I'm also not suggesting that Nintendo never lays anyone off, or that all layoffs at companies like Microsoft and EA
Nah,
are
they
these
did it
cynical,
once
carefully engineered
during the Wii U
decisions.
life
No,
cycle.
very often the cynicism is reactive, not proactive. And as for Nintendo and companies like Nintendo, well, they prove that excess hiring and shocking layoffs aren't a necessity. That if it wasn't for a very specific corporate strategy that copies very recent developments in big tech, the logical and reasonable decision here would be to hire the right amount of staff and work to retain them during a hot job market. It's important for me to note that Nintendo and the Nintendo Game Plan copycats do also have to manage hype. They use hype to sell their products and they participate in the cycle to some extent. But they are not beholden to hype, because they are not selling hype for the purposes of hooking investors, and as such, their engagement with the hype needed to be so cynical. Nintendo doesn't have to engage in this over-hiring during the boom and firing or reorganizing during the bust, because its corporate leadership feels that a more stable, consistent pattern of growth that doesn't rely on a critical mass of investor capital has served it well so far, and the boat shouldn't be rocked. The consequence of not participating in this hype cycle and of not operating like an American big tech company is that Nintendo, despite owning some of the world's most valuable intellectual properties and brands, has a relatively modest $54.11 billion market cap, while EA, a company without nearly the brand or provenance and ranked the
He wakes up and then he just gives us a key, because that's what the prophecy says.
Has a market cap of roughly $36.61 billion.
Am I the only one who thinks that's fucking stupid?
Had a market cap of $59.71 billion, higher than Nintendo is today.
I'm pretty sure everyone thinks it's stupid, it's just they gave up.
Well, Roblox. But of course, Nintendo's investors understand that this is the way Nintendo plays the game, and that Nintendo is still around and still great, precisely because it doesn't engage in the cynical practices that have otherwise consumed the video games industry.
Silver Hammer for selling. 400G. 330.
A former Firaxis narrative
Copper.
designer states that 2022 was probably the best year to break into games. 2023
The thing YouTube implemented that no one likes.
2009. But the circumstances surrounding the layoffs in 2023 do not look anything like 2009. The video games industry is booming. The job market is extremely hot. Companies are reporting record profits and sales, and yet here we are cutting jobs. I am deeply sorry to all of the game devs and industry people out there who have been affected by these layoffs, and the many others who live in constant anxiety of being next. Many of whom I know are watching this very video. I'm sorry that it's happened like this, because the video games industry is not facing the Great Recession right now. Quite the opposite is true. We've seen record numbers and record growth reported directly to investors and distributed to shareholders via stock buybacks and dividends. These firings and studio closures and all this belt-tightening, all of this suffering, comes from a particular style of cynical corporate governance that has escaped the containment of big tech and infected the video games industry writ large. The industry isn't about to collapse, far from it. This isn't the end of the industry, it's just good business. Not to bite the hand that feeds, but I want you to read an excerpt from a blog post written by an ex-Google employee. Hixie joined Google in October of 2005 and resigned on November 20th of 2023, just a week or so prior to the publishing of this video. This former employee writes about how the oft-mocked "Don't be evil" slogan was once
why did the shark run away?
Google. Executives at early Google gave frank answers on a weekly basis.
That's gonna happen?
Eric Schmidt regularly walked the whole company through the discussions of the board. The company had a vision, and deviations from that vision were always explained. Google seldom, if ever, saw layoffs at all. But at some point, Google went from tech company to big tech company, and I'd argue even beyond that. Big tech has completed its transformation in recent years, and most, if not all, of these companies have moved from proactive leadership with idealistic vision to an increasingly reactive leadership built upon cynical response to shareholder and investor sentiment. Big tech has become like finance, and video game companies are following that same suit. If you were
the things that ran away were enemies.
Layoffs or closures, I want you to know that it's not you. It's almost
I think something should be done about that, or maybe that's just how it works in the original, so they're just being faithful. I don't actually know.
Everyone will play musical chairs, and you may find yourself with a new job at a different company, until the cycle turns again. Dixie, the ex-Googler, writes concerning Google that it's definitely not too late to heal Google. It would require some shakeup at the top of the company, moving the center of power from the CFO's office back to someone with a clear long-term vision for how to use Google's extensive resources. If you are a decision maker at your company, whether you're the head of a small indie studio or a board member of a multinational corporation, I hope that you will consider the human cost of your decisions and choose a more humane way of doing business. But who are we kidding? I've met a heck of a lot of finance people and business types and startup goblins and whatnot, and I already know that most of you won't. You just won't. But I hope you, whoever you are, will be the exception to that rule. As for you workers, you employees, well, Doug Bowser says that Nintendo is such a nice company to work for that their employees don't even consider unionizing. But how about you? How does your company treat you? I wonder. I've been your host, Gulg, and thank you for tuning in to the channel.
Maybe I should start learning Japanese a little more seriously. Alright, let's go to that with the marsh first.
If Link hadn't found that cheese,
no, I'll go to
he never could have brought
first.
the glory of pizza to the masses of Hyrule.
After
I just took it all in for a second, reveling in the fact that we now have a canonical instance of Link from the Legend of Zelda series eating a pizza. Something I never thought I would see. But that really got me thinking. We've now seen Link eating a pizza, and thanks to a certain Mario Party minigame, we've seen a lot of Mario characters eating a pizza as well. That's a pretty sizable chunk of the Super Smash Bros. Roster right there that we know have had pizza. But why stop there? Why don't we take a look at every single character in Super Smash Bros. And try to determine whether or not they have canonically eaten a pizza before in any of their games. Like, I can't be the only one who's curious about that, right? Now, I'm gonna lay some ground rules we're gonna follow for the rest of the video. First of all,
It'd be a good new offensive
pizza is a food
spell
item in the Smash
for
Bros.
Mara
Series, so technically,
in the
all
next
of them can
town.
eat it there. Yeah, no, that
When
ain't
we
gonna
finally
fly.
gain access to
Pizza
it.
within Smash Bros. Itself doesn't count. We're looking at actual canonical instances of these characters eating pizza in their own games. Speaking of which, no outside material,
more accurately,
including
the
movies, books,
an attack.
TV shows, etc. counts either. We're solely looking at the games for proof. Mainly because if I had to scour the entire Pokemon anime for instances of pizza eating, I would go insane. That's not to say I didn't, however. This was a pretty difficult video to research since I'm not obsessively familiar with every franchise represented in Smash. I had to dig deep for some of these characters, reading wiki article after wiki article, watching video after video, and even putting 15 hours of my life into a random mobile game, just for the slightest hope that I could get the pizza eating proof that I couldn't find anywhere else on the internet. So strap yourself in,
Come on,
folks.
why are we still
It's gonna be a long one
missing?
today. Time to find out once and for all which Super Smash Bros. Characters have canonically eaten pizza. We're going to be putting them all into a tier list. At the top, we have Pizza Eater. This is pretty straightforward. If we find clear-cut evidence of them eating pizza, such as in a cutscene, or if pizza is an inventory item they can consume, then there you go, Pizza Eater. Right below, we have Knows What Pizza Is, Doesn't Eat It. Basically, this character exists in a world that has pizza, but there's no evidence of them ever eating it before. That doesn't necessarily mean that they haven't had it off screen at some point, but that's just speculation. If we can't say for sure if they've eaten pizza or not, then we have to assume they haven't. And below that is the Doesn't Know What Pizza Is category. This is mainly for characters who come from universes or time periods that don't seem to have any pizza whatsoever. Or maybe the universe does, but the character themselves have probably never heard of it. Alright, that's all the tiers. For now. But before we jump on in, let me tell you about the best way to build a website for that burgeoning pizza empire you've always wanted to create. Yes, that's right, I can read your mind. And I know that the best way to build up a business is with Squarespace. Squarespace is an amazing online website builder that enables you to create beautiful websites for your business or personal hobby. Create your own online store to sell your products. Whether they be physical, digital, or service products, you better believe Squarespace has the tools you need to start selling online. Hop on in with one of their professional website templates with designs for every category and use case. Then make it your own by customizing the design, updating content, and adding whichever features you need. Any Squarespace template can do anything you want, allowing your idea, brand, or business to stand out. And on any device, too. You can even host video content using Squarespace, organizing your video library, showing off your content on beautiful video pages, and selling access to exclusive videos with member areas. The possibilities are near limitless. Check out Squarespace.com for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, go to Squarespace.com/Shameless to save 10% off your first purchase of the website
Bailey finally reached level 13.
First up, we got Mario. Now you're probably thinking, what a stupid question, right? It's a Mario! Mamma mia! Pizza pie dinner. Of course, this walking Italian stereotype has had pizza before, but just going off of vibes aren't enough.
Right, there will be an enemy fight.
Evidence that this man
I'm pretty sure it's more wizards.
Just ignore the fact that he and his brother vibe in a pizzeria in the movie, because that's not real. Only the video games are real. When has the real Mario eaten a pizza before? Well, good news. As I alluded to in the intro, we have evidence that'll cover not just him, but 7 of his friends. Look no further than the Mario Party minigame, Eats a Pizza, which appeared in both 3 and Superstars. I mean, there's literally no debate here. He is chomping that thing. Mario is a confirmed pizza eater. We are 1 for 1. And we can go ahead and use that same minigame to make it 2 for 2. I don't think Donkey Kong has ever eaten a pizza in any of his games. I mean, the dude knows what he likes, bananas or bust. Unfortunately, I don't need to scour the entire Donkey Kong extended universe for a rare instance of him eating pizza, because I've got it right here. He also played this minigame. We're 2 for 2. And we're about to make it 3 for 3, because the next smasher on our list is Link.
I just have a bad feeling that they can somehow stone
He's the
us.
whole reason this video exists in the first place. You can make pizza.
Or maybe they poison. Okay, they
you
stun.
can gobble that shit up, lickety-split. Congrats to Link. And in fact, I think we should take him a tier higher than the people who have merely eaten pizza. Link belongs to the CEO
Wait, why the fuck do I have a
which
creep
you
instead
can
of a
only
shark?
achieve if you introduce cheese to your universe by uncovering its long-lost recipe. Truly his greatest accomplishment.
I accidentally misclicked during one of the fights against the ogres.
I don't think I've seen this intergalactic bounty hunter eat any food ever, let alone pizza. I assume, if anything, she just downs a couple protein bars in between missions, and that's enough to power her the whole way through. I don't know, I've played most Metroid games, and I don't see any evidence of pizza anywhere. No stray pieces of pepperoni stuck to the dashboard of her ship. I guess it's possible she had some during her youth working at the Federation as depicted in Other M, but we definitely don't see it. So I'm gonna go ahead and put her in the knows what pizza is, doesn't eat it category. It's the future. Pizza's probably all over this galaxy, but I sincerely doubt it's Samus's thing. And if Samus hasn't eaten pizza, there's no way in hell a being of pure Phazon energy has eaten it. I don't even know if Dark Samus can eat, TBH. I also don't think Dark Samus absorbs Samus's memories, just her abilities. Meaning this horrifying monstrosity has probably never even heard of pizza. I mean, she worked with the Space Pirates, but I sincerely doubt any of them ever brought up pizza as a thing that exists. So Dark Samus goes in the doesn't know what pizza is category. Next up is Yoshi, and what do you know? Our good friend Eats a Pizza strikes again. Yoshi is easily thrown into the pizza eater category.
Oh my god, Yoshi's gonna die.
And I think a better question than has Kirby eaten pizza is what food hasn't Kirby eaten?
Ran away.
I mean, come on,
I didn't
this
even know they could do that.
anything and everything available in Dreamland. But for the purposes of this video, let's just scour one of his many gourmet races and see what we can find pizza-wise. Surprisingly, pizza is not on the very extensive list of foods available in Superstar. I guess it was more important for flan and lobster to make the cut. Though he has eaten cheese and tomatoes in this game, so that's kind of close, right?
She can tank at least one attack. There it is.
Oh no! Oh no! This is terrible! I can't find it in any of these games! He just keeps eating roast turkey and curry, but never pizza? Oh god, is everything I know about Kirby a lie? How can he seriously never consume this delectable delicacy that brings joy to the masses worldwide? What am I gonna do? How am I supposed to go about my day knowing this forbidden knowledge? That Kirby somehow has never eaten pizza in his entire life! Oh, never mind, there it is. It returned to 3 minutes. And it was included in Roblox, Rainbow Curse, and Planet Robobot. Woo! Crisis averted. Kirby has eaten pizza. He just took his sweet time doing so. Next is Star Fox, and I'ma keep it real with you, Chief. I don't know a damn thing about this series. I mean, I played 64, everyone has. And I also watched a Let's Play of that weird-ass dinosaur game. I don't remember any pizza in either of these. What are the ramifications of there being pizza in Star Fox anyway? Like, cheese is a dairy product, but is it like taboo in a universe where presumably there are talking cows? Or maybe nothing matters world-building wise since Falco references Einstein. Whoa, that's the guy from Oppenheimer, no way! But yeah, I checked a bunch of potential pizza sightings, specifically the weird-ass endings of Star Fox Commands, as a few of them have plates of food. But this one, where Falco's comforting Fox, doesn't look like pizza. It looks like not pizza. And this other one with Crystal and her gal pals also looks like not pizza. That's as much effort as I'm willing to put into researching Star Fox. If I somehow miss the secret alternate ending of Star Fox 2 where the gang goes to Pizza Planet and eats every pizza civilian there, let me know in the comments. Otherwise, I'm putting Fox in the doesn't know what pizza is category. And next up is... oh boy, here we go. Pikachu. So, Pokemon as a franchise is the one I was really dreading when it comes to this video. Because even though we're completely ignoring the anime, do you know how many Pokemon
apparently the power staff has a funny special use?
More than 7. I thought this was going to be a nightmare of wading through increasingly more obscure content as I tried in vain to find a single instance of all of these pocket monsters eating pizza. And after a bit of research, well, I have some good news and bad news. The good news is, I found a game with pizza in it. Pokemon Cafe Mix. A mobile game where you match icons together in order to cook some delicious food for your favorite Pokemon. And one of those foods happens to be cheesy Rowlet pizza. Bada bing! That should cover every Pokemon who's available as a customer in this game, right? Well, that's the bad news. I couldn't find any concrete information online on how the customer system worked. I had no idea if the cheesy Rowlet pizza was only something certain Pokemon ordered. Like, fucking Rowlets, I don't know. I couldn't find any evidence or footage of Pikachu specifically ordering this dish in all the wikis and all the YouTube videos there were on this rather obscure and not super popular game. So, I did something I'm not particularly proud of for the sake of research for this video. I downloaded it to play it myself. Thankfully, they ported it to the Switch, which is great because I don't have it in me to go to the Google Play Store and download a Pokemon mobile game. One time with Pokemon Go was enough for me. Thanks. But yeah, I figured, what the hell? How bad can this shitty-ass phone game be? Turns out, I actually kinda liked it. I don't know, I had a ton of fun matching icons together and doing what was required for each dish. It's cute. But holy shit, they do not make it easy to unlock new recipes in this game. For Rowlet Pizza specifically, in order to create it, you must have Pikachu at level 6 and Bulbasaur at level 8. But first, you gotta unlock both of them by creating a dish that they'll both be interested in. Which means a lot of grinding to not only get them happy enough to join your cafe, but also to get them to the chef levels required for this stupid-ass pizza. It took forever. Not helped by the fact that there's a cooldown period where you can't play new stages until your stamina resets. I love mobile game mechanics, they're so fun! But after over a week of on and off playing, I finally got the dumbass pizza. So now I can serve it to a Pikachu and prove to myself and you guys that he can eat it, right? Wrong! You see, the customers at your cafe are randomly generated. There's no guarantee you'll get a Pikachu, and even if you do, there's no guarantee that he'll order the pizza. You can pay a bit of in-game currency to shuffle the customers around and hope you get this yellow rat, but it's nonetheless a tedious game of praying you get lucky with the right customer and order combo. I was getting desperate at this point. Unlocking the pizza was supposed to put an end to this shit, and now there was no end in sight. So I did what I probably should have done from the beginning, and I consulted with the Pokemon Cafe Mix subreddit. I made sure to be vague in terms of what the video was about. You can't have anyone swooping in and stealing my idea to shove a pizza down the throat of every Smash character. But yeah, I basically asked, is it possible for any Pokemon to order any menu item? And the few comments I got said, yeah, it's random, but any Pokemon can order anything. Cool. That wasn't good enough. I still needed concrete evidence. If I could just get footage of any of the Smash Pokemon ordering a pizza, then I could take that as proof that anyone can order anything. I just needed to see it happen with one of them with my own eyes. So I kept playing the game, getting really excited when Pikachu or Jigglypuff would be my customer, and then getting super disappointed when they asked for curry or some shit. Order the fucking pizza before I lose my mind! Finally, after 3 weeks of playing this game whenever I had some spare time, it finally happened. Pikachu ordered a damn pizza! I cooked it for him, he ate it, I captured footage of the whole thing, and that's finally a wrap on this agonizingly drawn-out process. Pikachu is a confirmed pizza eater, and so is every other Pokemon available in this game. And no, I didn't get footage of all of them eating pizza because at this point I was done. They're customers, and any customer could order pizza. Use your imagination. Okay, Pikachu was a bit of a struggle, but thankfully we're back to one of the easiest characters in the whole video. Luigi. Every Mario character pretty much boils down to, were they playable in Mario Party 3 or Superstars? And yep, Luigi was there, I saw him. Pizza the pizza. Joining his brother in that tier. And next up is another easy one, Ness. In his home game, there's literally a pizza delivery service you can call from any phone, and they'll deliver, no questions asked. It's kind of funny because they say they'll have it over in 3 minutes, and then you have to wait 3 actual IRL minutes before they show up. Good for this game for giving us realistic expectations of pizza delivery times. Just for that, Ness goes in the pizza eater category. I mean, it's not because of that. It's just because the pizza goes to your inventory and then you can eat it, and that's the point of the video. It's who's eating pizza, so that's actually the reason he's in the category. Next up, we got the man, the myth, the legend, Captain Falcon. It was at this point when I realized the most efficient way to do research on franchises I don't really know much about was to just go to their wiki and search pizza. And what do you know? I found no results. That's pretty much exactly what I expected, because it's very rare to see Cap out of his vehicle during gameplay. There are some weird-ass cutscenes in one of these games, but I don't think pizza was involved there. Even so, while there's no evidence that the Falcon Punchmeister has ever had pizza before, I'm still gonna put him in the knows what pizza is, doesn't eat it category. Since I'm sure pizza is still around in the not-so-far future when F-Zero takes place. And now we finally come to the last of the original 12, Jigglypuff. And we're not going to spend nearly as much time on her as we did on Pikachu. She's a customer in Cafe Mix, she can order pizza. Case closed, pizza eater, let's move on. Now we're on to the melee characters, starting with Peach and her Echo Daisy. Did they eat the pizza? Oh, you better fucking believe they eat the pizza. Boom, pizza tier. Next up is Bowser. And, uh-oh, he wasn't playable in Mario Party 3 or Superstars. He never eats the pizza, guys. What do I do now? I looked up pizza on the Mario Wiki, and the only thing that came up was an item from a Nintendo Adventure Book series. Books aren't real. Only video games are real. Oh, jeez, this is bad. There's gotta be some time that the King of Koopas himself consumed a delicious slice of heavenly goodness. Shit, man. I got nothing. Bowser obviously knows what pizza is. I mean, his nemesis is Mr. Italian Man and his brother Green Italian Guy. But I don't think he's ever known the triumphs and defeats, the epic highs and lows of pizza. I'm actually really sad that I have to put him in this tier. Damn. Next up is the Ice Climbers. Okay, this research should take like a minute since they only have one game. Is pizza a power-up in their one game? Nope, it's just disgusting, filthy vegetables. Blech. They presumably live in the real world, so they know what pizza is. Maybe they've even had it before. But we have no evidence to suggest such an occurrence, so they go in the knows what pizza is, hasn't had it tier. Alright, finally, another Zelda character. I'm excited for these guys because all of them are gonna be the easiest shit ever. No, Sheik has never had pizza before because pizza only shows up in Tears of the Kingdom, which is at the end of the Zelda timeline. No further research required. There is no pizza in Ocarina of Time Hyrule. Sheik doesn't know what it is. Case closed. Then there's Zelda herself. Now Now we gotta remember, this is Link to the Past Zelda. Or is it Link Between Worlds Zelda? Doesn't matter, none of them know what pizza is. Truly, they were born in the wrong era. Mamma mia, it's a Dr. Mario! This might be a little tricky, because I can never really tell if this is an alternate version of Mario, or just Mario in a lab coat. Let's check the Mario wiki just to be safe. Dr. Mario is the persona Mario assumes in the Dr. Mario series. Well, there you have it, it's literally just Mario in a lab coat. And we know for a fact Mario has eaten pizza before. So, boom! Not the healthiest food for a doctor to be eating, but oh well, he sure has. You ever wonder how this dude got into like 3 different Smash games? Like, how did that happen? This is probably the dumbest idea for a fighter of all time. Pichu! I'm gonna be honest, I don't want to look at another Pokemon again for at least a year after this experience. Pichu is a customer in Cafe Mix, so he's a pizza consumer. Yay! Moving on. Falco! I mean, the same principles apply to him as they do to Pops, right? Doesn't know what pizza is. But then again, he does know what Einstein is, so who knows what's really going on in that bird brain of his. Okay, we've reached our first of many Fire Emblem characters. These ones being Art and Lucina. And like, I think Fire Emblem should be a done deal like Zelda, right? I don't believe pizza existed in medieval times, and I played Awakening and don't remember it showing up there. But I guess I'll Google pizza in Fire Emblem just to be safe. But what are the odds of what? Okay, so in Fire Emblem Engage, you can make both classic pizza and deep dish crepe pizza. Gotta be honest, you guys, I beat this game and I don't remember like 90% of it, and pizza absolutely did not cross my mind at any point during my playthrough. I guess I missed it. And Martha and Lucina are technically in this game as these spirits who can be summoned via rings, but you can't actually invite the ring version of these characters to dinner to eat some delicious pizza. You can only invite the game's OCs. Well, okay, that settles it. Martha and Lucina just have to watch on as their mortal comrades consume a pizza they could never possess. Except maybe not, because after you're done cooking the pizza and eating it with your friends, you get leftovers, which are a consumable item. It doesn't say this is pizza, but we know it is, because it's what was left over from your cooking. Oh, but the ring characters still can't consume items, so it doesn't matter. Except for the fact that you can fuse with the ring characters and then eat an item. So technically a half Marth fusion and a half Lucina fusion can eat pizza, and this applies to every other Fire Emblem character in Smash since they're all in this game. But like, does this count? Does a fusion of a ring spirit of these characters eating leftover day-old pizza mean that the characters themselves have consumed pizza? Just to be safe, I'm gonna put Martha and Lucina in the fusion of a ring spirit of these characters eating leftover day-old pizza tier. Shout out to this video for making me boot up Engage for the first time in 6 months. Oh, thank God, the next character is Young Link. Okay, easy peasy. I know Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask front to back, and there is absolutely no pizza in either of them. He doesn't even know what pizza is. He's a stupid baby child, and it won't even be invented until a billion years. And Ganondorf is in a similar mode. Did not live in the era of pizza, and apparently the Tears of the Kingdom Ganondorf is a different one. But even if he wasn't, I sincerely doubt Link took the time during the final battle to tell him, hey man, you gotta try this pizza stuff I just made. Maybe if Link had done that, Ganondorf would have turned good. Like, all he was missing in his life was a delicious slice of pizza. Unfortunately, we live in the Ganondorf doesn't know what pizza is timeline. Next up is Mewtwo, who I really wasn't expecting to be in Cafe Mix, but lo and behold, there he is. But not exactly in the same vein as the other Pokemon so far. The wiki states that he's not available as a customer, only a staff member. So I guess you can't feed him pizza, huh? Well, that's good enough for me. Mewtwo goes in the knows what pizza is, doesn't eat it category. I cannot stress enough that I have done enough Pokemon pizza research for one lifetime. Everything else I found pizza related in the series comes from the anime, which doesn't count. So if there's some extra obscure Pokemon pizzeria game I don't know about, let me know in the comments. Or better yet, keep it to yourself. I want to go to bed. Next we got Roy and his Echo Fighter Kron. And once again, both of them are ring spirits in Fire Emblem Engage, so we don't have to put any thought into which category they end up in. Fusion of a ring spirit of these characters eating leftover day-old pizza, it is. Now we come to Mr. Game & Watch. Oh man, if you thought Mario was multi-talented, get a load of this guy. He's simultaneously a fireman, judge, lion tamer, mole whacker, a bunch of other stuff that isn't relevant, and a chef. So as such, there's a non-zero chance that Chef Game & Watch over here cooked up a pizza and maybe ate it, who knows? Unfortunately though, his original game only had sausage and fish, and then when the game came back for the collections on Game Boy Color and Game Boy Advance, he was just replaced with Princess Peach. Doesn't she have enough of her own games? Also, there was no pizza in sight still. So I think Game & Watch is gonna have to go in the knows what pizza is, doesn't eat it category. We finally reached the Brawl newcomers.
What's gonna happen? B-A-S-O.
We finally reached the Brawl newcomers, starting with Meta Knight. One look at this guy doesn't really scream Pizza Eater, but it's actually quite easy to prove the contrary. Remember how the first Kirby game to have pizza in it was Return to Dreamland? Well, as it turns out, Meta Knight was playable in that game, so he can gobble that slice of heaven right up without having to remove his mask somehow. Pizza Eater, let's move on. Ooh, now we're looking at one of my favorite characters to ever grace Smash Bros. Pigs. If you're unfamiliar with the Kid Icarus series, you might assume, oh, well it's based on Greek mythology, so obviously they didn't have pizza back then, which is a stupid fucking idiot thing to say, dumbass. Kid Icarus is wacky and anachronistic. Pit eats ice cream off the floor. As a matter of fact, he'll just eat anything. There's no rhyme or reason to which food items are available for consumption in this game, similar to how food items are in Kirby or Smash Bros. I wonder why. But let's get back to the big question. Is pizza one of the floor foods in Kid Icarus Uprising? Guys, I have bad news. There is no pizza. Pit's diet exclusively consists of chocolate bars, cake, apples, grapes, hamburgers, donuts, sushi, melons, meat, and of course, floor ice cream. But there is no floor pizza. You didn't have to do my boy like that, Sakurai. Just let him eat pizza. It's a perfect fit for his personality. But alas, Palutena doesn't allow it to be part of his regular diet. He probably knows what it is, but unfortunately, he has never eaten it. Hey, wait a minute. Only after I wrote all of that did I come to a divine realization. This line of dialogue exists.
So now what? We just go home and order a pizza.
And there it is! A line of dialogue in-game that implies that Pit has had pizza before. I know it's not official confirmation of him eating it, but he wouldn't just say, let's order a pizza, if he didn't already know what pizza tastes like and like it. He wouldn't just suggest it without mentioning this is his first time eating pizza, if it really is. I don't think there's any way to deny that. It's airtight. Pit is canonically a pizza eater. Argue with the wall, comment section. But on the other hand, there's no way in hell Dark Pit has had pizza. He's far too edgy for that. He survives off of bacon and pure testosterone. Zero Suit Samus! I mean, she's literally Samus. And as we already established, not likely to be a pizza eater. Wario! I mean, in addition to being Mr. Pizza Tower himself, here he is, eating the pizza with the rest of the Mario cast. Man, I can't wait till we get to Waluigi and we use this minigame for him also. Now we got Snake. Being the hardened, bred for combat soldier that he is, it's highly unlikely that he's ever had pizza before. Just to be sure, I checked the Metal Gear Wiki for mentions of pizza, and the only one I could find was from Metal Gear 2, Solid Snake, where some guy named Jacobson, who Snake can call on the radio, orders a pizza. But Snake himself can't do it. There was also a guy in Metal Gear Rising who ate pizza while wearing sunglasses, but Snake was definitely dead at this point in the timeline, due to being old as fuck. Rip Solid Snake, you would have loved pizza. Maybe. Knows what pizza is, hasn't had it. Prepare yourself for another easy one. It's Ike. Fusion of a ring spirit eating leftover day-old pizza. Next, now we got the 3-for-1 fighter, Pokemon.
Yikes.
And while the trainer
No, why would you do that?
They probably have at least heard of it, right? They're a kid, and we know pizza exists in this universe, so I feel pretty comfortable putting them in the knows what pizza is, doesn't eat it category. But the main thing we really need to look at are Squirtle, Ivysaur, and Charizard, since, you know, they're the peeps you actually play as in Smash. Well, Squirtle and Charizard are done deals. They're both customers in Cafe Mix, so they can both eat pizza. Ivysaur, on the other hand, isn't, but its pre-evolution Bulbasaur is. So this is where we have to get a little technical here. See, the Pokemon Pokemon in Smash aren't specific characters. They're all just one member of this certain species of Pokemon. So, since this is just any old Ivysaur and not a specific one, who's to say this Ivysaur didn't evolve from a Bulbasaur that happened to eat pizza in the past? You can't prove that's not. All I have to prove with the Pokemon is that any of their species ate a pizza at any point. So I'd say a Bulbasaur eating one, and having the potential to evolve into Ivysaur afterwards, is pretty admissible evidence. Ivysaur goes in the Pizza Eaters category. Alright, when I was researching Diddy Kong, I found this promotional Donkey Kong 64 themed Lunchables pizza. That doesn't really help me, at all, but I thought it was cool. Yeah, someone who did not eat to the pizza, I don't think Diddy here has ever had a bite of that cheesy goodness. The idea of collecting any food that isn't bananas in a Donkey Kong game is simply unheard of. And Diddy Kong probably only knows of pizza through the stories DK has regaled to him of that one glorious Mario Party 3 minigame. So yeah, knows what pizza is, doesn't eat it. Next up is Lucas. Now while pizza isn't quite as plentiful in Mother 3 compared to Earthbound, there is indeed a pizza available in the final area. The favorite pizza, in fact. It's probably Lucas's favorite because it's the only pizza he can eat in the entire world. But regardless, Lucas confirmed Pizza Eater. Oh boy, I was bracing myself for this one because I knew it was going to be tricky. Sonic the Hedgehog has appeared in way too many games for me to even process. I know he's a connoisseur of chili dogs, but man, it's going to be difficult tracking down an instance of the blue blur eating pizza. I mean, it seems like a match made in heaven, right? This cool dude with a bad tooth has got to have subconsciously promoted pizza eating habits to the youth at some point, right? Well, here's what I found. Sonic mentions a pizza guy in the Sonic movie 2, which is completely worthless since we're only going by games. Great start. Pizza the Action is a cooking program in the Sonic comics. Again, not relevant. What am I doing? Aha! The Sonic team did an in-character interview explicitly stating that a certain hedgehog, whose name starts with S, likes pizza. This is it. Of course it was Shadow. Why do I even bother? Shadow also likes Doritos, Snickers, Hot Pockets, the Terminator movies, Burnout 3, Madden. This is all canon, Sonic Team said so. Sometimes the Chow will draw a pizza-like picture to indicate they are hungry. Can Sonic give them pizza and then take a bite himself? No, this is a load of barnacles. I mean, look at Sonic. I know he's had pizza before. I just couldn't prove it. Wait, what's this? Edible item? There's a page for edible items in the Sonic series? Let's see here. In the Xbox 360 and PS3 versions of Sonic,
he's really using Wiki as his source of information, I just realized.
That's cool and all, but pizza will never be an edible item in the Xbox 360 and PS3 versions of Sonic Unleashed.
What a Chad.
Sonic has eaten pizza before! I knew it was true, I just knew it!
You know, I'm fucking done with that place.
I'm actually hyped right now. It took me almost an hour to find this information. I just feel this overwhelming sense of joy that eating pizza in a Sonic game is a thing. Woo! Anyway, moving on. King, DDD,
whatever else is left there, I don't remember, but I know I don't care and I don't need them.
And eating pizza there. Easy Pizza Eater. Ooh, here we go. My favorite protagonist in all of gaming. Captain Olimar. I am obsessed with this little dude, but is he obsessed with pizza? Well, he's encountered plenty of massive real world. Why is that hard? He's encountered plenty of massive real world foods in his many expeditions to the Pikmin planet, but never pizza, surprisingly. I know he has pizza on his home planet because his coworker, as well as the actual devil, Louis, specifically mentions using the creeping chrysanthemum enemy as a pizza topping. So Olimar definitely knows of pizza. And being a family guy, it's more than likely he ordered it for his kids at one point. But unfortunately, we just don't have any real evidence that he's eating.
Can anyone tell me what this is used for?
We have evidence that he smokes marijuana, though, if that means anything. I guess I should also address his alt costume character, Alf. On the one hand, we have even less information about his personal life than we do for Olimar. But on the other hand, he has, at the very least, touched pizza before. Not eaten necessarily, but there's a bonus stage of Pikmin 3 that's Christmas themed, and for some reason it has a mini-boss fighting platform that's just a pizza. I don't know what it's doing there, and since Alf has to keep his spacesuit on, I highly doubt he managed to take a bite of this yummy-looking floor. But he certainly knows of it after this experience. So I'll go ahead and throw Olimar and its spirit Alf in the knows what pizza is, doesn't eat it category. Lucario! Gee, I wonder if this incredibly popular and beloved Pokemon was in Cafe Mix. Oh, yep, there he is. What do you know? Pizza Eater. Now it's Bob time. And, I mean, he's a robot. Like, he's just a real-life toy. And as a game character outside of Smash, he was in Mario Kart DS, but there's no pizza there. And even if there was, he's a robot. How would he even eat it? I'm putting him in the physically incapable of eating pizza category. Toon Link, the last Zelda character we gotta look at. For some reason, they never added any more after him, but that's another story. And yeah, much like all the other Zelda characters who don't exist in the Breath of the Wild era, he has never gotten his hands on the sacred golden triangles that make up a pizza. They'll just have to settle for this stupid Triforce thing or whatever, who cares? Doesn't know what pizza is. Whoa. Oh, well, golly gee. If Fox and Falco have never heard of pizza, I wonder if Wolf Hat doesn't know what pizza is. Moving on to the Smash for 3DS and Wii U newcomers, we got the Villager. And what do you know? Cooking was added to Animal Crossing.
I'm not that desperate for money, so I guess I'll keep it until someone tells me.
Pizza you can eat. Oh, but shape, that's not
Or
the
I
new
figure it out on my own,
Villager in Smash. That's
which
the
I don't think
City
is
Folk
likely.
Villager. You can tell because they're shorter. Shut up, straw man I made up in my head. It's not the same as the different incarnations of Link being their own distinct characters. In Animal Crossing, you make the villager, and their height doesn't make a difference. Pizza Eater. Moving on to
Are you seeing this?
Now, I don't know much about his series, but I do know this. He's a robot, and thus probably does not eat pizza. In terms of whether or not Mega Man knows what pizza is, the wiki states that Dr. Light based him on his own interpretation of a real boy, as if it were his very own son. And do you know what real boys like? Pizza. Ergo, it is likely that Mega Man knows what pizza is. But since he is not a real boy, he can't have it.
I am depressed. Suddenly, pineapples.
Wii Fit Trainer. Alright, this is an easy one. I've seen everything the Wii Fit Trainer has to offer, and at no point would she even consider eating pizza. She's gotta stay in tip-top shape, but she does exist in the same universe as the Miis, which we'll get to. So she clearly knows what pizza is, but would never, under any circumstances, eat it. Rosalina and Luma. Well, the and Luma part definitely doesn't apply since these little guys only eat Starbits. But really, I consider Lumas to more so be a part of Rosalina's moveset, and not their own distinct sub-fighter, regardless of the fact that the announcer called their name. We're only focused on whether or not Rosalina has eaten pizza. But she wasn't in Mario Party 3, so the Eats a Pizza rule doesn't apply to her, right? No, silly! She was in Mario Party Superstar.
If Apple could at least equip better weapons, that would make her just so much better than she currently, than the class is right now of the Green Wizard.
Part of the entire video. Little Mac. And I'm not just saying that because, you know, the character sucks in Smash. I'm saying that because I couldn't find any evidence of him eating pizza. And this is Little Mac we're talking about. Like, he's literally a New Yorker. Come on, he has to have had pizza before. The Mario movie literally features the Punch-Out Pizzeria. But again, that's movie content and not from a game. Little Mac just hasn't appeared very often outside of the boxing ring. The closest thing I could find to him eating pizza is in the original arcade version of Punch-Out, where one of his opponents is named Pizza Pasta. Can you guess what nationality this guy is? But yeah, there's no actual pizza to be found in any of the Punch-Outs. I really hate to say it, but
everyone is officially off sync in XP now,
knows what pizza is,
with Mara being in the lead.
Even though, like, we all know in our hearts he has eaten.
It's very
but
depressing.
That's off the record. Greninja. Gee, I wonder if this incredibly popular and beloved Pokemon was... I don't even need to finish that. Yes, he's a Cafe Mix. Eater of the pizza. Okay, so the Miis are kind of weird since they're separated into Brawler, Sword Fighter, and Gunner. But technically, those types of Miis are Smash originals, as indicated by their series icon. And we're not looking at whether or not they've eaten pizza in Smash. So, I think the more logical thing to do is to just see if Miis in general have eaten pizza in any game.
Oh my god, she lied.
This is where my gaming knowledge from when I was 12 years old comes in handy. Because there's a minigame in Wii Party where you play as pizza delivery Miis, and you bring that pizza to a Mii customer. Miis are pizza eaters, so we'll go ahead and give that category to Mii Brawler, Mii Sword Fighter, and... Okay, fine, I'll do Sans Undertale. So this is pretty cut and dry, actually. There was an official Undertale Q&A on Tumblr where Toriel reveals that she bought Lunchables packs that she thought were for Papyrus. But really, Sans ate them. She notes that he didn't make the little pizza included, and instead ate all of the ingredients separately, like a goblin. And you know what? I think that counts. The intention of the Lunchables creators was for these items to form a pizza. They weren't sold separately and
Time to get
eaten
nitroglycerine.
thus losing the potential to be a pizza. No. Sans committed an avant-garde bit-by-bit form of pizza eating that absolutely qualifies in my book. Also, Sans is Ness, and Ness canonically ate pizza, so yeah, that's just further proof right there. Also, Toriel had 3 glasses of wine and started throwing the pizzas at Sans like frisbees, so maybe he caught one in his mouth, you don't know. Anyway, who's next? Alatena. Surely a goddess doesn't have such pedestrian tastes as pizza, right? Wrong! Remember how Pit said they should just go home and order a pizza? Well, this is Alatena's response. Like, I'm sorry, that's even stronger evidence than it was for Pit. You wouldn't have a goddamn pizza coupon unless you eat that shit on the regular. You guys seriously need to play this game. It is one of my favorites of all time. It is so funny and well written in ways you would never expect a Nintendo game to be. I made a whole video on it if you're interested. Anyway, Alatena's a certified pizza fiend. Now we got Pac-Man. And like, come on, this dude has to have eaten a pizza before. His most famous design looks like a pizza missing a slice. Surely at some point he's gotten that slice and made himself whole. Unfortunately, despite the wide variety of fruit he's consumed in his mainline games, including pretzel, root beer, delicious pancake, tricycle, and cat, they never thought to give him a pizza to munch on. Does that mean we're screwed? Of course not. This is Pac-Man we're talking about. He's everywhere. So for our purposes, look no further than the obscure PC game Pac-Man Pizza Parlor. This isn't really a game about Pac-Man. He's just the sidekick / mascot whose name got thrown into the title in order to sell a completely unrelated game. The story is that Blinky fucking kills this guy who owns a pizza parlor. Well, he puts him in the hospital and gives him amnesia, but same thing. And now his daughter has to manage his pizza parlor. But he manages to tell her that she needs to put a quarter in their old Pac-Man arcade machine. She does so, and then summons the real Pac-Man. It says so on the wiki. This is really him. Namco published this game. Anything in it is Pac-Man canon. So now we gotta answer the big question. Does this motherfucker eat a pizza in this pizza-themed game or not? Actually, it turns out none of that matters because there's a mini-game of Pac-Man Party called Pizza Party where you make a pizza and then the winner eats it and the winner can be Pac-Man, so there you go. I wish I saw that first so I didn't have to go down the Pac-Man Pizza Parlor rabbit hole. Pizza Eater. Moving on. Robin. Easy peasy. Fusion of a ring spirit eating leftover day-old pizza. We're gonna start seeing a lot of these pretty soon. Alright, I'm really feeling this next character, Shulk. Fortunately, Xenoblade is pretty straightforward. The only game in the series to have pizza of any kind was Xenoblade Chronicles X, since it's the weird one set in New Los Angeles. And Shulk isn't in that one. And it doesn't have a fighter since Nintendo ignores its existence, so we don't have to worry about it later. Shulk goes in the doesn't know what pizza is category, since I'm pretty sure he wished for a world without pizza or something. Bowser! Here. Alright, look, if I couldn't find any evidence of Bowser eating pizza, what makes you think his son would have had some at any point? And the same principle applies to all the Koopalings. Even though I could definitely see them throwing a pizza party in Bowser's castle, we've never seen it happen in any game. They all know what pizza is, but don't eat it. Duck Hunt! I mean, it's literally just a dog and a duck. They only appear in this one game, and there's definitely no pizza there. It's possible the duck got a leftover slice of it in the trash somewhere. But dogs aren't really supposed to eat it, so let's say they haven't had it because then the dog might be dead or something. I'll also put them in the doesn't know what pizza is category, because we only ever see them in this grassy field, presumably far away from civilization, and more importantly, pizza. Then again, the dog probably belongs to whoever's shooting the ducks, and he seems like a regular man, so maybe he had pizza, but there's no evidence for that, so never mind. Oh my god, wait, in Duck Hunt, are we playing as Man from Bambi? Ryu from Streets?
Smith the Blacksmith.
And just Ken. So, I don't really know anything about fighting games that aren't Smash, but from a preliminary search of the Street Fighter Wiki, while there are plenty of pizza lovers in this series, Ryu and Ken's pizza consumption habits seems pretty non-existent. That is, until I dug a little deeper on the most recent game, this year's Street Fighter 6. Turns out your custom character in the World Tour mode can buy pizza from this food truck, and the stuff you buy from food trucks can be gifted to various characters, like Ryu and Ken. I don't have footage of this happening, but like, I played a goddamn Pokemon mobile game for 15 hours. I'm not buying a $70 game and putting a ton of hours into that just for video proof. There are articles that explain how the gift mechanic works, so if you want to see it in action, just do it yourself. Ryu and Ken are
Look at all
pizza
these
eaters.
loots.
Because if you're gonna get a whole ass pizza as a gift, it'd be rude not to eat at least some of it. I've never fully beaten
Alright.
Final Fantasy VII, but I know damn well that Cloud mentions pizza in the remake.
You owe
Cool.
me a pizza.
Aha! He said it! He said he wanted pizza. That confirms it, right?
Dragon
Well,
Claymore?
not actually. See, while Cloud's
Oh, no, it's a
comrades,
dragon
Big,
sword.
Reg, and Jesse are eating
Hey,
some
it's worth a
delicious
lot of
pizza
money.
courtesy of Jesse's mom, Cloud is too busy breaking into their house to
Another
steal something,
silver
so he
knife.
doesn't get to partake in the epic za. Later, Jesse says, OMG, I gotta have you over to have some pizza sometime. But Cloud doesn't
Double
seem
silver
super
knife
up for
from
the
Mera.
idea. And then later still, when it seems like Jesse's about to die, Cloud
Wooden hat.
finally says his famous catchphrase, you owe me a pizza. So it's sort of left vague
No one can
whether
wear
or
it.
not Cloud has ever had pizza before.
No one should
He
wear a
clearly
wooden hat.
wants to, but until the Final
That just
Fantasy
seems
VII
stupid.
Remake series is complete, we won't know if the prophecy is fulfilled or not. But, just based on his personality, he doesn't seem like the kind of guy to eat
Alright, this
pizza
silver's weaker.
unless one of his dying friends
Ah,
wants
but
to make it for him. So,
looks
I'm
like
gonna
he can
put
wear
him
it.
in the knows what pizza is, doesn't eat it category. Subject to change in the future, of course. Corin. Wow, my favorite character. Yep, they sure do go in the fusion of a ring spirit eating leftover Daniel pizza category. Bayonetta! I played 1 and 2 a while back, but I don't remember any pizza in either of them. But clearly I
House.
missed something, because after checking the wiki, there sure are N64 quality burgers and pizza for your consumption in one of the areas from 2. That's not even a joke, that's literally what the wiki says in this image. However, I think it's exaggerating how consumable this pizza is. I mean, they're behind this glass case, so like, how are you supposed to get them? The answer is, you don't. They're just for decoration. And in 3, Bayonetta can get guns delivered to her in a pizza box, but there's no actual pizza in there, SMH. Throw her in the knows what pizza is, doesn't eat it tier. Finally, we've reached the ultimate newcomers, starting of course with Inkling. Since they're an avatar character with multiple of them populating multiplayer matches and the hub in these games,
Oops.
all we need is for at least one of these Inklings to have had pizza. So, how does 63% of them sound? Yep, Splatoon 1 had a burgers versus pizza splatfest, with pizza taking 63% of the popularity pie over burgers 37%. With that said, burgers still won the splatfest somehow. Boo! But whatever, the Inklings have spoken. They love pizza, and if they voted for it, I think it's fair to assume that they've eaten it. And if you want more proof, there was a Splatfest exclusive to Europe and Oceania that asked if pineapple on pizza was delicious or disgusting. Like, you can't just vote on that unless you know what both of these things taste like. And I know the votes are coming from the people in the real world, not technically the Inklings themselves, but I mean, you Inklings have had pizza.
Something pineapples.
Next is Ridley, and honestly, we don't need to overthink this one. If it's highly unlikely that Samus had pizza, it's borderline impossible that this giant purple space dragon would fly into his local Little Caesars and say, one pizza please. With that said, he is highly intelligent, so perhaps
Caroline the Dancer, are you ready for a lesson in weakening your enemies? Watch closely.
Now it's time for Simon and Richter. I don't know a ton about Castlevania, I've only played like 2 of the games, but it seems pretty darn unlikely to me that pizza would feature in this
It
series.
releases all
in
force
any
attack and
capacity.
magic attack
Well,
and
aren't I
25%.
stupid? Because pizza
Alright.
games, mainly ones with
It's
Alucard
purely
protagonists,
defensive.
but
I
also
thought-
in Castlevania
I thought it lowered
Guardian of
defense.
It's a multiplayer game that
My
features various
bad.
protagonists from across the series, including Simon and Richter as DLC. And these are apparently just versions of them that exist inside this cursed book, but like, I think it's fair to give this one to them. There aren't nearly as many hoops to justify calling them pizza eaters as there are for the Fire Emblem cast. Simon and Richter are in. King K. Rool! Okay, so if the idea of Diddy Kong eating pizza was dubious, do you honestly think this crocodile madman has ever had pizza before? Like, I'm trying to picture K. Rool eating pizza, and I physically can't. Knows what pizza is, doesn't eat it. Okay, Isabella is
Anti-water.
surprisingly a little trickier than Villagers,
Anti-wind.
since you don't play as her. Thus,
Blink.
you can't willingly make her eat pizza, nor can you mail it to her as a gift. She works at Town Hall. You can't give her anything except mountains of paperwork and complaints about your neighbors. There's only one Animal Crossing game with her in it that I don't really know much about, and that's the mobile game. I'm gonna keep it real with you, Chief. I'm not gonna play another mobile game for this video. This time, I'm solely relying on what the Animal Crossing Pocket Camp subreddit has to say. And thankfully, my question about whether Isabella's eaten pizza before got answered
Yo,
by a single
instant
person
kill.
who said no. She doesn't interact with items,
That's
and the only
useless.
food we ever see her with is Bojanku. This comment got a whole 6 upvotes, so you know what? That's good enough for me. Thank you so much, Reddit user Sailor Butterfly, for contributing to this video. Without you, I would have had to waste another 15 hours of my life playing a phone game and being depressed while doing so. Isabel knows what pizza is, doesn't eat it. Incineroar! I mean, there's literally a Rowlet pizza. So surely fellow Alola starter Incineroar's pre-evolution Litten isn't cafe mix, right? No. No Litten, no Incineroar, no whatever the middle evolution's called. He is the only Smash Pokemon to be completely absent from cafe mix in any form. So I guess he's never eaten pizza then. How sad. Does he know what it is? Maybe? I don't know. He's a feral wrestler cat. I can't really think of a scenario where he'd know about it. But then again, this is the entire Incineroar species we're talking about. So surely one of them must have been standing outside a pizza place at some point, statistically speaking. Knows what pizza is, doesn't eat it. Now we come to our first of many ultimate DLC characters. This being Piranha Plants. And like, if I couldn't find anything about Bowser or Bowser Jr. eating pizza, do you really think Piranha Plant has had it before? I'm putting him in the doesn't know what pizza is category, because I don't even know if these things are capable of
get more regen.
I mean, they don't even have visible ears or eyes.
No,
what are these things
How many
and what is
regens
this
again?
franchise? Next up is Joker. And look, I played through the entirety
she
of
only has
Persona 5
regen 2
4
for
different
now.
times, and not once did I ever
Yeah,
encounter a
fuck it.
pizza
Can
place
you-
in this game. It is pretty massive, so I might have missed it, but even though the Phantom Thieves consume a lot of food on a lot of different occasions, pizza is not among them. However, Joker definitely knows what pizza is, because when you're interrogating this one kid to find information on a criminal, you can accuse him of being a pizza smuggler. He's so quirky. Love him. So yeah, given just how many other options there are for him, and how much Dojuro probably disapproves of any non-coffee, non-curry foods on the premises of Gulg, I think it's safe to put Joker in the knows what pizza is, doesn't eat it category. Yeesh. Okay, I wasn't looking forward to Hero because that's 4 different dudes I gotta research.
Another
The health of the series
anti-element would
I
be nice.
don't really know much about.
I'm not
But
sure
it wasn't too bad.
whether
You
it
can
should
make
be
pizza in
water
this
or
Dragon Quest
wind.
mobile game, as well
Though,
as Dragon Quest Builders
the
2.
two
But
elements
neither
are
of
pretty
those
niche.
are directly connected to the games where these 4 dudes are from. I'm putting
I'm
them
pretty
all
sure
in
I'll
the
be
doesn't
fine
know
with
what pizza
whatever.
is category. But if I miss something,
I'll make
please
one,
let me know.
either way, I'm
Even
making
though I've
one
only
part
played the
easier,
first
one part
Banjo-Kazooie,
harder.
I felt like I had a good enough grasp of how this world operates to know that there probably
Well, I'm gonna
isn't
go grind
pizza
some money.
anywhere where Banjo lives.
16K
But just to be
specifically.
safe, I asked my friend
Did I save already? I'm gonna save again. No, you're not. I'm gonna save in
He sent me
the
the link to the
cave.
opening cutscene of Nuts and Bolts. Well, don't I feel sheepish, because this is some of the most concrete evidence in this entire video. There they are, literally eating pizza. Like, it's not even implied, it's just pizza time. I mean, technically only Banjo is seen eating pizza, but come on, there's no way Kazooie just sat back and let him have both of those pies. She probably insisted on first dibs. Either way, Banjo is the main playable one in Smash, so he's propelling the duo to the pizza eater category. Next, we got Terry Bogard. I was really dreading this one because he's been in so many SNK sub-series, none of which I know a single thing about. But even though he's dressed like a pizza delivery guy, his page doesn't mention pizza once. So you know what? That's good enough for me. Knows what pizza is, doesn't eat it. Boy, Fire Emblem sure has a lot of characters, huh? I wonder if anyone's ever noticed that before. Anyway, I booted up 3 houses to double check if you can cook pizza there or not, since this is the game where Engage's cooking mechanic originated. But nope, pizza is foreign to Bodlin, meaning Violet Eisner's only encounter with it is as a fusion of a ring spirit eating leftover day-old pizza. And yes, Violet's last name is canonically Eisner. You're welcome. Min. Okay, how much research do you guys really want me to put in here? It's ours. I think we've seen everything there is to know about these characters. Apparently, Springman is a known pizza lover, but we're not talking about him. We're talking about Min. And like, look at her. She only eats ramen. I refuse to believe any opinions to the contrary. Also, did you know that on the ARMS wiki, it lists her weight as unimportant? Okay, that's kind of funny. Anyway, knows what pizza is, doesn't eat it. Now we got Steve, who hails from the wonderful world of Minecraft.
I literally
build
need to roll
just
in
about
that
anything
one.
in this world except pizza.
Come on, Bailey.
Yeah, as of
Or
the
Emily.
current year, the Minecraft devs have not yet introduced pizza to the world of the game. You can build giant statues of pizza, and there are even plenty of mods that allow you to make pizza, but mods aren't real. Alex, Zombie, Enderman, and Minecraft Steve all lead a sad, doesn't know what pizza is life. 1 like equals 1 prayer. Next up is Sephiroth. Okay, I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that if Cloud has potentially never had pizza, there's no way in hell Sephiroth has. Like, I haven't played all of 7, but I literally cannot picture a single scenario where Sephiroth eats pizza. I'm putting him in the
Right,
Nozo
you know where we're going.
doesn't eating category. Now we got Pyra and Mithra. Once again, the only pizza content in the Xenoblade series was in X, and these two weren't in X. Kinda wild how Monolith Soft poured so many years of their lives into making this game, and now it's been practically abandoned by both the Xenoblade community and Nintendo itself. It wasn't bad, I had fun with it. I just wanted to scream into a pillow every time they made a joke about wanting to eat Tatsu. Yeah, that's enough talking about this game forever, I think. Pyra and Mithra go in the doesn't know what pizza is category. So, our second to last character and franchise to look at in this video is Kazuya and Tekken, which I know nothing about. And oh boy, was I in for a treat. Tekken 7 allows you to equip your characters with a plethora of wacky items. And wouldn't you know it, one of those items is a giant pizza. So, imagine you're Kazuya and your opponent just smacks you in the face with this huge ass pizza. Where did the pizza go? There's some slices on the ground, but most of it just disappeared. But how? The only logical explanation is that it fell into Kazuya's mouth and he ate it. That can happen. It's a video game, just accept it. At the very least, it's highly unlikely that he didn't get a small accidental taste of pizza after getting it chucked at his head countless times. He's going in the pizza eater category. And last but not least, we have Sora. So, has the kid with the key ever consumed pizza before? No, I don't think so. I mean, Axel has a special weapon in Kingdom Hearts 358 Days Over 2 that looks like pizza, but Sora wasn't in that game. And in the games that he was in, I haven't found a hint of pizza. Maybe if the Toy Story world had Pizza Planet in it, but it didn't. How chicanerous. You can't even cook pizza with Remy. I mean, a little chef. What a ripoff. Oh well, I'm sure Sora at least knows about it. Maybe that's what his mom was making for dinner that one time. Remember Sora's mom? Anyone? Knows what pizza is, doesn't eat it. And that's the entire list. Now we know which Smash Bros. Characters have definitively eaten pizza before, and which ones haven't. Unless I made a mistake, which is highly possible, so if I did, please let me know in the comments, and I'll address any factual errors in the pinned comments. But yeah, even though this isn't my usual content, and researching it really took a lot out of me, I had a ton of fun with this video. I learned a lot about all these franchises and characters I'm incredibly familiar with. And hopefully, you learned a lot too about your mains pizza consumption habits. I'm gonna go order a pizza now, because, yeah, obviously. And I assume you probably will too. Hope you enjoy it. And remember, play Kid Icarus Uprising for the love of God!
A normal bull. Really? Shit. Damn it. Mara just drained more. Yarg. Let's try the poison thing. It can fail. Wacky. Death Knight spellcasting is definitely important. Come on. Oh, come on. I believe might definitely be better if there were another caster that could grant resistances other than herself, so she could exuviate a bit more consistently. Because she does give more value, technically. To those anti-element spells. Dang it, I'm still missing 1,000. I'll complete the white spell list first, I suppose. I'll go with water.